so happy to have you all with us. I'd like to extend a special welcome to the large number of Truckers B2B members we have with us today. We truly appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to spend some time with us. Just a quick housekeeping item before we get started. I'd like to ask you all to please mute your phones during the webinar. It does help to keep the background noise to a minimum for everyone on the call. Today we've got a great presentation for you focusing on the top 7 ways that juggling some of your most critical tasks in trucking by hand, like IFTA reporting, accounts payable, dispatching, can really cost you. And better yet, some practical ways where we can improve. We'll offer some quick tips that you can apply today, and we'll also give you a look at some more comprehensive solutions that will help you long term. Ian McDougall will be our presenter today. Ian specializes in transportation management solutions for smaller fleets and brokers, and he's got a lot of great information to share. So without further ado, I would like to turn things over to Ian.
Okay, Carol, thanks a lot. Yeah, just again, as Carol asked, just for everyone to make sure they are muted, because of feedback just from past experiences, just makes things a lot easier. If you guys do have specific questions, we can answer them at the end, but if you feel like it just can't wait, then there is a chat section where you can actually raise your hand that I can answer on that specific section. So we'll go ahead and get started here. I guess to start off kind of where we got the name for the webinar and talking about a juggling act. We started off with talking about juggling, and because when you think about it, juggling one ball at a time is very easy to do, but as you add more and more balls, just like in a business, as you add more and more tasks and responsibilities and duties, it gets tougher and tougher to be able to manage all at the same time. So what we want to talk about is identify some of those things that people do have to do on a daily basis and what you are dealing with, and maybe a solution, some other ideas to help make things a lot easier for you in your day-to-day lives. What I'd like to go back to and first talk about is just the way that things used to be so easy for everybody. So manual processes and how people used to run their businesses used to work fine. And the reason for that is because it used to be a simpler industry, even a simpler world in terms of technology and all of that, whereas a lot of people could get by with fax machines and just phones and communicating through mail, regular snail mail, whereas nowadays we find that that doesn't necessarily work as easily or as efficient as it can. Maybe back then companies were smaller, or you were smaller and had only a couple of trucks, and now have grown and added on trucks as you've gone along, or just wanted to keep pace with the fast-paced industry. Key team members that you also used to rely on or do rely on back in the day, maybe they had everything all memorized up top. They didn't have to worry about juggling things or passing back and forth information to each other because you just had 1 or 2 key team people that you referred to. As we talked about, paperwork was the norm in the industry. Faxes, sending everything by regular mail was a common practice in the industry. Well, it's no longer like that anymore because everything is time restrictive, and the faster people are with things, the more efficient and more effective you're going to be able to be. Also, what happened is that everyone was kind of on the same playing field. So everyone was in the same boat of how they ran their business. People operate in that similar fashion. But nowadays, more than ever, we found a wide range of the way that people are conducting their business on a day-to-day basis. We still have a lot of companies that are running things the old school way. And when I say old school, it doesn't mean that it has a negative connotation to it. It just means that things are a little bit slower and they don't move as quickly and efficiently as they would be able to if they had it with more companies that are up to date with automated systems. We also talk about how the old school mentality is not always a bad thing because people are more comfortable with that. And it does take a little bit of time for people to get out of their comfort zone into something that could be more efficient for them. We also have companies that are totally new school and they're totally automated, where that isn't necessarily always a great thing either. So we're going to touch upon some of these things, and I want to talk about just juggling these advanced processes manually. They can have a negative impact on your business. So these are the key things that we're going to talk about covering and what most of you will juggle on a day-to-day basis. You're going to be juggling issues with efficiency. You're going to be juggling issues with productivity, driver relations, reputation for customer service, compliance efforts, having your ability to grow, and then in the end, your bottom line, which is what we're all doing here, and what you're doing in your business is helping out your bottom line, helping your goals and dreams outside of work. Juggling high-priority businesses processes like IFTA, order management, accounts payable, and dispatch, all those manually, it can negatively impact your business. It can really cost you in these particular areas. So today we'll review each of these areas and discuss a couple of the ways that it can improve your company just by using things moving forward. So we'll go ahead and look at each of these points and what can arise, and then some suggested solutions as well. Prophesy on Demand has some great, and Prophesy has some great systems to be able to help with. I'm going to be talking about Prophesy on Demand, which is our web-based solution, kind of and how it'll be able to relate and help out each of these points, as well as some other things within the industry. So to start off talking about your efficiency, we want to talk about how much time your team spends entering trip information. Do they enter information in multiple locations, or are you all in one location in one office? Is it always up to date? Where do you guys update it? Do you update it in spreadsheets? Do you update it on just a dry erase board? And if this is the case, how do people communicate it to other people within your office? If someone's out for lunch, when they come back and someone else goes out for lunch, how does that work with communicating? Now, some of you may be thinking, well, I only run a couple of trucks, or we're small enough that we can manage it all. And that might be the case, but if you can manage things better, then why not do so? How smooth is your billing cycle? Building efficiency through your billing cycle and accounting processes, it means speeding your days to cash, which means obviously speeding up your cash flow and helps you guys to be a lot more profitable. So a quick tip, for example, of what a lot of people are doing and leaning towards nowadays is by using load boards, obviously, to post loads or to find loads or post trucks and vice versa. Posting sites like posteverywhere.com will allow you to do that, but allow you to post it to multiple boards at once versus you having to go to each of your boards and having to make things a lot more efficient. In terms of handling some efficiency, I'd like to show you where Prophesy on Demand and our dispatching software will be able to handle some of the efficiencies. On a day-to-day basis, to be able to handle and to be able to manage your trips, this is based off of a dry erase board, where I can see up to the minute all the updated information of my loads. I can see all of my customers and what loads I'm hauling for them. I can see all of my scheduled pickup and delivery dates and handle all of those as well. Also, when I get orders that I've already had with my customers, I'm able to go ahead and actually duplicate an order if I've already had it previously, just by the click of the button. So as I said, this is where you can manage loads on a daily basis. This is based off that dry erase board and being able to know up to the minute what's going on with all the orders, the last locations based on the most recent check calls that were brought in. And in terms of billing and managing things and your days to pay and keeping track of sending invoices out, you're able to do so by creating invoices just by the click of a button in our system. And then it also integrates into your accounting processes, whether it be QuickBooks, Peachtree, Sage 50, Simply Accounting, whatever it might be. We integrate with those systems. So that's in regards to efficiency. Now to talk about capacity. Do you guys ever miss backhauls or new load opportunities just because you're not certain where your trucks are at without a flurry of phone calls? Could you improve your capacity to grab new business quickly as it becomes available? So a quick tip for this would be to implement a GPS tracking tool on driver cell phones to pinpoint locations. Prophecy's come out with a great tool called SkyTrack Mobile, and that will really help you guys out with being able to do so. In Prophesy on Demand, you're actually able to look to see where they were located most recently by a check call. You'll see this location section here. I'll be able to see what city and state my drivers were most recently based on the date that I spoke to them. When I want to go ahead and cover a load, and I want to be able to go ahead and find out where my drivers are located, I can go into my equipment section, and I'm able to see, okay, this driver or truck or trailer is currently in this location on this date, and they're going to be available in this location on this date. So I'll know where my drivers and trucks are for scheduling in the future so that we're able to keep track of it all and keep up to date so that they're always moving backhauls or taking loads out. In terms of driver relations, is your hiring for drivers, is that disruptive to your office team, or is it a smooth process? Do you have the proper people in place to be able to do the proper hiring for drivers, or do you find that it's a constant revolving door? Are driver log review times consuming, or is there more of a standardized process that you guys have? Are you guys able to process driver advances and driver pay with trip information that you guys have confidence in? Are there gaps in this process that concern you? So just some different things that you'll be juggling. A great tip that we have here to be able to help you guys with your driver relations is that the FMCSA offers a free downloadable guide which outlines standard procedures for driver logbooks. Circulate those to your drivers just to help standardize the completed logs you receive and speed up your processing time. Here's the website for the logbook, and like Carol put in here, don't worry, we'll be able to email you a list of all the links after the webinar, just so you'll be able to get all the information that we're trying to give to you. So in terms of being able to manage and handle that inside of Prophesy on Demand, you're able to actually send a trip sheet out to your drivers, letting them know where they need to pick up and where they need to deliver for their loads. This would have your company information here, and then it would also have who the driver is and where they need to pick up and deliver. You're able to email this right from within the program to help make things easier and more organized for you. Also, when you're handing out your trip settlement reports or when you're calculating trip settlement reports, is there always an issue or some questions with your drivers? Well, in here and with Prophesy on Demand, you're able to handle that by automatically calculating how you pay your drivers, whether it be by mile or by percentage. It'll calculate it here. When you do reimbursements or advances or deductions, you're able to handle that with inside of Prophesy on Demand as well. Also, keeping track of medicals and different expiration dates for your drivers. You're able to handle that in the driver profile section. By setting each of your drivers up, you can handle and set up the expiration details based on due dates. And with that in here, you will be notified how this works. Talking about reputation for customer service. How do your companies and your customers view you? How do other companies in the industry view you in the market? Are you able to effectively communicate load statuses to your customers without pulling people away from gaining and building new business? A lot of people tell us that they're too busy to implement a system, but it's kind of a catch-22 because if you're too busy, then that means that you're too busy not to put a system in place. It'll help you to save time in the long run. Could some or all of these issues be alleviated by just a system that proactively notifies each customer about important information to them? So here's something with social media nowadays that people are doing and using in the system. A customer service quick tip here. You can use like a closed group on Facebook or LinkedIn to communicate information with your customer group. You can utilize text messaging to keep communication and costs down. In Prophesy on Demand, we're actually able to set up and send out customer status updates and emails automatically. So let's say your driver gives you a call and lets you know that you've picked up a load for them. what you can do is you can highlight that load in the pickup location, and then an email can automatically get sent out to the customer letting them know that you've picked up the order for them. Same thing goes when loads are delivered. And also the same thing goes anytime there's a status notification or change to be sent out to the customer. Another very efficient and effective way for customers to be able to work is by having customers being able to log in and upload their own orders into the system. You could have your own landing page that you give your customers a login access where they're able to go into the program and actually enter in their own orders into the system. Another issue could be with compliance efforts. When you guys are filing your IFTA returns, how much time does your team spend collecting the necessary state forms, state tax rates, mileage logs, and fuel receipts? We know people that they usually wait till the end of the quarter, when the end of reporting time when it's due, to be able to do all of this. How long does it actually take someone to be able to do for you? And when you do it, are you confident that it's accurate and up-to-date information? So just a quick tip for you as well. Visit the website iftach.org for current and past tax rates, recent tax rate changes, and helpful tutorials for accurate documentation and filing. In Prophecy on Demand, you're actually able to work with our IFTA tax tally program to help alleviate your time and make things a lot easier. Each trip that you enter in will give you a state mileage breakdown, state by state, to let you know for your IFTA reporting. This will get exported into our tax tally program, and then you can enter in the fuel receipts so that at the end of each quarter, you're able to do your quarterly reporting much easier and much more efficiently. Do you have an ability to grow? We have a lot of companies and customers right now, before they got Prophecy on Demand, that they wanted to grow, or they just weren't able to handle the business of taking on new customers. Or they have customers currently that want them to take on more work with them. But are you even able to do so? There's a lot of companies that are at that point, and they're comfortable with where they are, which is totally fine. But are you guys able to handle EDI capabilities if your customer requires it, or online shipment tracking, or email alerts for your customers? Do you guys feel as though that you guys are helping your company to appear larger or more professional? That would help you guys to gain a larger business accounts? Companies don't necessarily know, and your customers don't necessarily know how big you are. Or when you're coming to grab a new customer, they may not know how many trucks you're running. So there's no real need to be able to tell them that, because if you're presenting yourself in a professional manner, you may be able to compete as efficiently and effectively as the larger companies that are out there. A big telltale of that, of what people have, is based on their email addresses and also websites. So a quick tip and a very cost-effective way for you to be able to get competition with the competitors is by creating a fresh new website for your company. Using a free and user-friendly tool. A top-rated one that's out there right now is Weebly.com. So that would be a good thing. And with that as well, you're able to gain your own email address. When we see email addresses given out like at hotmail.com or at gmail.com or at yahoo.com, it'd be much more professional and much more effective if it was at abctransport.com. Then companies and customers may think that you're a larger company than you actually are. With Prophecy on Demand, a way that you would be able to grow and have your companies feel and maybe look like you're working and you are one of the larger companies is how professional you are with being able to communicate them with documents. Are you able to print off invoices and email invoices? Are you able to send invoices out with your logos on them? Or are they handwritten on the invoices? Just to make things much more effective and more efficient. How about when people call in asking about their load or asking about their order, do you know very quickly who it is that you're talking to or the exact update and status of their load. By having all these things effectively and efficiently within your business, you're going to be able to have a lot more customer satisfaction for your customers that are out there. And like we talked about, your bottom line is a very important thing too. Let's face it, all the time spent chasing paperwork, fielding customer calls, communication gaps, lost information, and such things like that, they limit your ability to be able to grow your business, to build customers and collect payments in the shortest time possible. It also stops you from being able to avoid fines and audits due to compliance issues. Build your customer service reputation, resulting in repeat and increased business much more. Now, I'd like to take some quick time just to show you our complete solution. And the complete solution is Prophesy on Demand, and it makes lives just a lot easier and a lot more organized. So we've touched on a couple of things already. Working on your dispatch board and the order browser on a day-to-day basis, quickly entering orders in here, and being able to keep track of the pickup and delivery location, entering in the details of the load so you have all the load history in here, as well as being able to enter in rates and totals for your customers very easily. Some companies need to be able to create bills of lading, and when you need to create bills of lading, you can just click on a button here, and that document's going to be created, customized towards your company. So it's going to be quickly sent out instead of spending a half an hour trying to figure out how to create a bill of lading. You're able to properly manage and handle the dispatching of your customers and your loads by entering in up-to-date statuses from your drivers based on check calls. Emails are automatically being able to send out to your customers, updating them on their statuses of the loads. And that gets carried through all the way to being delivered. You're also able to keep track of all of your invoicing and do your invoicing within the system. You're able to attach documents to tie in with those invoices, whether it be PODs, bills of lading, all of those different things. Creating a simple invoice will help with your efficiency too, with your own logo, your customer details, and all of your customer information. You're also then able to calculate your own trip settlements in here to pay your drivers, whether it be by percentage or by mile. You're also able to have the state mileage set up in here too, just for your IFTA fuel tax reporting. By keeping track of the maintenance section of your drivers, trucks, and trailers, you're able to keep track of all of them based on expiration details, how you pay your drivers, and same goes for your trucks and trailers. You're able to keep track of all the expiration details for them too. And the greatest thing with all of this information as well in terms of the accounting is that it integrates with QuickBooks and other accounting solutions so that you don't have to go ahead and re-enter all that information into the accounting package. Once you enter it in here once, it'll transport and communicate over to the system. You're also able to do up-to-date reports and efficiencies like that, like profitability reports for your customers. No need to figure out, hey, is this customer profitable for us or not? You can actually run reports to be able to know exactly how your customers are managed. By running reports, you can see how many loads you did based on that date range, where the trips went, as well as you can see what you charged, what you paid out on the drivers, as well as the gross profit percentages that you have for them. You're able to set up pre-negotiated rates for your customers in the rating section. You can do your ACE manifest with your ACE history. And there's full support in the system too. You can also check out mileage options. So in summary, everybody, Prophesy will help you guys with the juggling act. It's going to help with your efficiency, your productivity. It's going to help with your driver relations. It's going to increase your reputation for customer service and compliance efforts. It's going to give you the ability to grow, and it's going to increase your bottom line. Well, that concludes our webinar Wednesday for today. Thanks a lot, everybody, for taking your time and looking at this. Again, thank you to Truckers B2B for being able to help us out and have some members for Truckers B2B as a part of this. If you guys do have any more questions about our system or any other Prophesy tools, whether it be our driver log auditing system, whether it be our tax tally program, or whether it be Prophesy on Demand, feel free to contact myself or your current account manager with the company, and we would love to help all of you out. Again, thanks everybody for joining us, and take care. Have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.